Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Conference. Conference, I'd like to start with a quote. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is that good people do nothing. And Edmund Burke said, when bad men combine, the good must associate, else they will face one by one unpitied sacrifice in a contemptible strength. This means to me that if we don't pull together, if we don't get our shit together, Boris Johnson is going to win. And we don't want that. Boris Johnson, Donald Trump, these are just some of the bad, racist men who are combining. And we are good people who need to associate. This cannot be a normal conference today. This is a call to action. This is a call to action conference. Be under no illusion. Our democracy is under threat. The Supreme Court is making a judgment on that right now. Our democracy is under threat. And the values we hold dear, like inclusion and diversity, equality, they are all being threatened. And we must build the shields of protection on the front line. Boris Johnson, or the Incredible Sulk, as I like to call him, well, actually, I call him a lot more things. Like Johnson by name, Johnson by nature. But anyway, I could go on. But anyway, he has shown that he will do anything, lie, cheat, steal, just to hold on to power that he has craved since the age of 10, when he said, I want to rule the world. Anyway, I'm sure that he has lied to every single woman in his entire life. So of course, it's not much stretch of the imagination to conclude that he lied to the Queen, right? And when it comes to cheating, no, I'm not talking about that kind of cheating. When it comes to cheating, he has locked us out of Parliament to stop us scrutinising him. Listen, he kicked out 21 members of his own party, and he only had a majority of one. Never before has a Prime Minister done that. And he did it because he's spoiled and he's dangerous. And just imagine, if he can do that to them and sacrifice his majority, just imagine what he can do to the likes of us. He tried to fix the date for the election in the hope that students travelling to university wouldn't vote. He's pushing the agenda of rolling out voter ID in the hope that it will stop some people voting. All of these are just leaves out of Donald Trump's playbook. We need to wake up. We need to wake up. And I want to thank everyone that's been out there campaigning and registering people to vote, because we need to start registering people to vote like crazy. Every young person you know, everyone who has suffered over the last 9 years, we need to get them registered to vote. And we need to encourage them to vote Labour. And we need to encourage them to read our manifesto and understand that there is a better Labour, socialist, for the many and not the few government possible. And I know what you're thinking. What manifesto? Well, the last one was pretty good, right? Jeremy did an amazing job, and Andrew. I mean, it was amazing. And the new one is currently being written, but we need more input from you, the members. You know, I need help with my race and faith manifesto. So please, log on to the party website with your ideas. Together, we will create a people-powered manifesto, bolder and braver than we have ever been, empowering and inspirational and aspirational policies for our country. This is our serious call to action. And all the teachers, academics, race and equality professionals, and other experts, because we're not scared of experts, unlike the Tories, we need your help with the Emancipation Educational Trust, the initiative that I and our leader, Jeremy Corbyn, announced last year in Liverpool. We need experts to build on the vision so that we can hit the road running when we win the next election and we are in government. Do you notice that I said that? When we win the next election and we are in government. This initiative is a vital component in the fight against the far right. There needs to be a greater understanding of empire, colonialism and imperial migration. False framing of these histories reinforces the artificial separation between us and them, between their history and our history. Black history is British history. This false division can develop into hate. So by breaking all of this down, we can tackle the misconceptions and start to stem the growth of the far right, which is the fastest growing threat in the UK. This Emancipation Educational Trust will aim to provide a hub and school programmes to ensure a deeper understanding of British history. It will offer a story for all to engage and learn from. Where there is a will, there is a way conference. We've already seen the University of Glasgow make available £20 million in reparations. Other banks and businesses must follow. Labour will begin with consultation hubs in Liverpool, Bristol, Glasgow and London. And I would like to thank the Runnymede Trust, who we have been working closely with in building this policy idea and are doing vital work in regarding slavery, migration and empire. Why is this such a priority, some of you may ask? Well, because for the first time in our country's history, we have a Prime Minister who the far right regard as their leader. Stephen Yaxley Lennon, you may know him better by his stage name, Tommy Robinson. Boo, boo away conference. He proclaimed, "We back Boris." There's a bigger boo coming. And Boris's close friend Donald Trump's campaign was supported by the Ku Klux Klan and its former wizard. They may not wear pointy white hats anymore, but they are still amongst us. This is such a dark time in our history, and if we don't stand up to them now, it will get worse. All you have to do is open the paper and look at social media and you can see the abuse. MPs and politicians are subjected to vile threats every single day. The person that threatened to kill me is in jail. People are being attacked in the streets. There is a huge rise in hate crime. People have been raped and beaten up just because they have a different point of view, or skin colour, or religion, or just because of who they love. When the plot to murder Labour MP Rosie Cooper was foiled, the judge said the criminal had a perverted view of history and current politics, that he was prepared to act on his white supremacist worldview in a plot to kill a member of Parliament. I want to publicly thank Hope Not Hate. They saved Rosie's life. They saved Rosie's life and exposed many right-wing extremists in the process. And we know last year that the man convicted of the Finsbury Park terrorist attack also wanted to kill our wonderful leader, Jeremy Corbyn, and our London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, and our dear friend, Jo Cox. She was brutally murdered by a right-wing extremist. And it's hard for me to talk about Jo, but we must never forget her name and her profound words. and Joe's profound words that there's more that unites us than divides us. A Labour government will unite our country with positive policies. We will also tackle the rise of the far right and launch into an independent review into the spread of hard right extremism. Labour want what's best for our country, but not everyone has that intention. Some are using Brexit as an excuse to sow hate and division. And it doesn't have to be that way. There are people in this hall today who voted both to leave and remain. We are all good people. We are all good people. And we should be able to debate and disagree without attacking or condemning one another. Those elitists, like Jacob, never change a nappy, let me lie down in Parliament and take a nap, Rees-Mogg. Those elitists at the very top have a plan. And when I read the recent excellent United Nations report on contemporary forms of racism, racial discrimination and xenophobia and related intolerance, it really hit home. The Tories are carrying out their plan before our very eyes. And we are letting these bad men drag us into a dark place. But we say no more. And Labour in government will work towards full implementation of those powerful UN recommendations. Feel proud, conference, that Labour is building an international human rights anti-racism agenda in the shadow of populist nationalism. Feel proud, conference. Conference, when we win the next election, we can put a stop to austerity. We cannot continue to suffer like we have suffered over the last 9 years. Never forget that 87% of successive Tory and Lib Dem, let's not forget the role that they played, and Lib Dem government cuts have fallen on the shoulders of women. So let's win the next election, because Labour are ready to place equality right at the heart of our government. Hey! And I and my fantastic team, Carolyn Harris, Naz Shah, Baroness Gale, have announced many bold, positive policies to bring about this equality in our country, from the race-gender pay audits, domestic violence paid leave, and now from menstruation to our new menopause policy. It is about time we incorporated respect for women and our bodies into workplace policies. Most women will go through the menopause, and many feel ill-equipped to manage the symptoms of menopause at work. So, conference, today I am pleased to announce that a Labour government, with the help of the unions, will ensure that we end the stigma of talking about menopause, and that training is provided so that line managers can understand what adjustments may be necessary, ensure flexible working, conduct risk assessments, and review sickness absence procedures to consider the specific needs of menopausal women. And the few men that suffer from menopause too. Conference, I would like to thank all of the trade unions, but I'd like to say a special thanks to the Bakers Union for their McStrike policy. An extra thanks to Unite for their period indignity policy. and the G&B for their menopause policy. These policies are important because women are working longer than ever before, and some have no choice. To all the 1950s women, thank you for all you do. And I'm sorry for what the nasty Tories have done to you and your pensions. Labour will change that when we're in government. These policies will make a positive difference for women up and down the country. Conference. Together we will build a country and a workplace that works for everyone. And the Labour Party's people-powered movement, it's not that easy to say. The Labour Party's people-powered movement does what it says on the tin. It's for you. It's about you, the people. And conference, before I end my speech, can I just say hello to some very special people? They've been mentioned a couple of times today. The first graduates of the Bernie Grant Leadership Programme. A programme named after the first black male MP in the UK, Bernie Grant. Conference, the future of the party's in great hands. Listen, conference, we will build a movement faster than the Tories are trying to dismantle the very fabric of our society. We need this movement, and we need activists. We need all good people in this conference and the country, as Edmund Burke said, to associate in this struggle to save our country and defeat these bad men. If you are in social housing, if you are LGBT+, if you are straight, if you are a traveller, if you struggle to pay the rent, if you are a hijab, turban, cross, if you are black, white, Asian, if you are disabled, if you are old, if you are young, if you don't have a trust fund, if you didn't go to Oxbridge, if you are working class, if you are under 18, if you are aspirational, if you work, if you are a carer, if you feel you won't live beyond 25, if you have ever ticked the other box, you have a future, and you are worthy. Worthy of equality, worthy of dignity, and worthy of respect. And a Labour government